Good evening. The Toronto Raptors make history with a 145 to 101 loss at home to the New York Knicks, which is the largest deficit at home in the history of the franchise, which is pretty incredible because this, of course, franchise has had many years of pain and struggling. But even with that, even during the Bargnani era, there was not a 44-point loss. Precious Achiuwa almost got half of the Raptors out rebounded Precious Achiuwa by 15. He had 50% of what the Raptors had in rebounds by himself. We have talked a lot about how this iteration of the Raptors, with all the players out, is not even close. It's the worst team in the NBA. And I want to give a shout out to Delano Banton, who currently, when I checked a couple minutes ago, has 29 points right now for the Portland Trailblazers, trying to do whatever he can to will Portland to a win, to help the Raptors draft odds. But when you see Delano putting up 29 points and you see Bruce Brown 3 points in this game, 0 rebounds for Bruce Brown in this game. Jordan Nwora was talking to, not to name drop, but was talking to Mr. Lou, and I don't know, I might have a better handle than Jordan Nwora. There's a debate to be had that I mean, he had an incredible game tonight. He had back-to-back turnovers in the second quarter that were really comical. Dribbling it off his foot, trying to go behind the back, just really basic stuff that if you don't know how to do that, which he doesn't, I guess where the season's at, lost number 12, careening towards Reed Shepherd at this point. I guess it doesn't, none of this really matters. None of these notes really matters. I'm in Vietnam today, by the way. We might check out the bar later, but we're in Vietnam right now for this episode. But yeah, just a comical game. Really odd at the beginning too. This was a weird game. You got the Knicks. So the second quarter starts. It's let's go check out the box score. Knicks are 9 for 11 from 3. The Raptors are 7 of 11 from 3. This hot shooting for the Raptors was a mirage. It did not last, and the play completely fell off the cliff. And you got to give a shout out to Garrett Temple, who I think one of the funnier storylines we'll look back on this season is that he had McDaniels over Temple this whole time, which another beautiful game from McDaniels, who I really don't want to have to make another video about. But yeah, I mean, maybe in the off season I'll dip into some Jalen McDaniels magic, but he continues to be really effective in the tank. He almost leads the team. Gary led the team in plus minus with a minus 32. McDaniels right up there. McDaniels minus 27 in 16 minutes. Just incredible stuff. 4 points, 3 turnovers. And yeah, he's been in and out of the lineup, but for long stretches of this season when winning was still on the menu before all the injuries happened, this guy was still getting into games ahead of other people, which is just continues to be really funny. And it's going to be an interesting thing to see what they do with his contract in the offseason. Okay, I have a question mark here because I'm pretty sure I saw James Dolan sitting courtside, but then when I looked closer, it might not have been, but I thought it was, which would have been really funny. And I had predicted a big Precious game. I think I predicted a 40 burger, but he comes in and gives he kind of started off rough. He was a plus 18 tonight. 13 rebounds, 19 points for him. He had a couple big blocks and a huge dunk at the end. But he had a few precious plays, a really bad brick. a couple of really ugly turnovers, an air ball. So you kind of got the Precious experience. But yeah, he did almost like single-handedly out rebound Raptors tonight. Man, Tibbs must be just like vibing. He's got Mitchell Robinson back now. He's got Hartenstein. He's got Precious. Like he can basically play Precious as like a 3 at this point. And then yeah, you got McBride. The 3-point contest. The All-Star game was in Indiana, but the 3-point contest has been in Toronto all season. How many players this year have set some kind of individual records? Grayson Allen hit like 9 threes the other day. And now we've got Deuce McBride, who I don't know, I don't know if he just squeaked in, but kind of squeaked in ahead of Malachi. Like, I don't know if there was a huge gulf between them not that long ago. And now and people are saying in the chat, fans should get a refund. What a weird game to be at for a fan, I guess, because like you've got the OG and the Precious kind of memorial, not memorial. Got the Jalen McDaniels memorial, got the Jordan Wire memorial, but you have the whatever it's called, the tribute memorial tribute. Yeah, they got the tribute for those guys. OG's was first. His was really good. Obviously, there's lots of really funny OG moments. I thought Precious was going to get snubbed maybe, but they did his after as well with the milk bag and stuff. That was really nice to see. Probably those two tribute videos were probably the highlights of the game if you're a Raptor fan. And then you got Grady Dick, career high, 23 points. Really nice looking threes. He hit a couple over Dante DiVincenzo. I feel like lately he's letting his threes go a little like easier. Like there was kind of a time where, I mean, he only got up 6 today, but I feel like he is slightly getting more aggressive. I mean, with where the season's at this point, he could totally just take like 14 threes and no one would care. Like Obaji had that game, by the way. Obaji, big injury, brutal scream. I was, listening on headphones, which it was a kind of traumatizing scream, and I kind of had to like look away a little bit. But yeah, brutal injury. He went out with a hip issue. But yeah, he had the 6 for 20 game recently. I'm pretty sure Grady could be doing that every night and no one would say boo. But still gets 18 shots up tonight, which is, that in itself is kind of fascinating. Like only 6 of those are threes, and he went 10 for 18. He was really efficient. And you're seeing that he can score from pretty much everywhere. So once again, thank you to the Orlando Magic for being big Jet Howard fans, because it's funny when you think about the draft. Just the way the wind blows, could have easily had Suggs and Jet Howard instead of Scotty and Grady. So maybe there is hope for the draft this year, which there's only like 9 games left in the season. So that is coming up pretty quickly. I like how there isn't a single Knick in the minus. Plus, McBride was plus 40 tonight. You got plus 27, plus 32, plus 32. I mean, they ate like Josh Lewenberg in the media game, who I continuously hear about was just absolutely cooking in that thing. Totally shifted the paradigms and the conversations. But yeah, this was dark. This was a dark game. I mean, Garrett Temple, 15 points, 3 for 6 from 3. And this is what I also don't understand why he didn't play earlier, because he seems to have like a really nice 3-point stroke. And I know in practice he's been leading like the 3-point brigade. So I don't really know why he was just wearing suits for the first 6 months of the year, especially when they were trying to win. He actually looks like a pretty serviceable, good player when you give him minutes. And I mean, he had 15 points in 27 minutes. I think at one point he had 11 points in 3 minutes. He was just absolutely cooking. Gets you 6 of your 28 rebounds tonight too. So that's good. Bruce Brown, kind of the opposite. I think this is either the most fun Bruce Brown has ever had playing basketball or the most miserable he's ever had playing basketball. Because he's not really he's just kind of freestyling and wilding out. I don't really know if he likes that. He took 3 shots tonight in 20 minutes, 0 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 turnovers, minus 19. Yeah, I have a hunch that we have 9 more Bruce Brown. If the Raptors retain Bruce Brown, I would be absolutely flabbergasted. I think he's completely having a meal with this. And if they're going to investigate Jonte, I mean, you could look at Bruce, you could look at McDaniels. I think Bruce is more of a candidate because we've seen what he can do in the past. So he's either having way too much fun and just like not caring, or he's leading the tank. I mean, I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but once Jalen McDaniels took that technical free throw like 3 weeks ago when Grady was on the floor, that in and of itself could be the third investigation into the Raptors this year after Azatam and Jonte. I did make a Jonte video yesterday, so if you haven't seen that, go look at it. And if you got to this channel because of the Jonte video, now you're like, why the fuck is this guy talking in Vietnam after the game? I don't know. I'm sorry. I always lose a few people when I do these things. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Secured the Rod Black follow though, so maybe I'll go on the Rodcast. He commentated the first ever Vancouver Grizzlies game, so maybe I should get him on the channel. You know, re-up the podcast, get the Rodcast going. Yeah. Illinois says shame Kobe has to play with Jalen. Yeah, I've been impressed with Kobe Simmons. I think out of the like younger guards that they've tried, they've really, when you think about how many guards they've rolled out this year, it is kind of funny because like the team has just shifted so much away from forwards. But I think he looks probably the most NBA ready out of the guards, and he's actually like a pretty good defender. You know, I famously don't have a great eye for defense and was not a great defender in my high school collegiate career, but you see steals, you see a good anticipation, moves his feet well. It's, you know, no disrespect, but like Javon Freeman-Liberty just really struggles on defense. Like him and Brunson tonight. I mean, it's Jalen Brunson, but yeah, I think in terms of two-way potential, in terms of NBA readiness, he's looked the most polished, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's the most important quality to have, but it is nice. Tom Duke says the streak record is 16 currently. So franchise record is 16 losses. I'll go through them again, but there's really only one game you got to worry about for the rest of the season, and that is the Washington Wizards. But as we saw last week, the Raptors are capable of losing to the Washington Wizards. So it could be 21 if they keep 21 is the max they could do in a single season. So, or someone's saying it's 17. I don't know. Whatever. Trash Clip says fans came to see Jalen Brunson. Let's be honest. I mean, yeah, probably, or just to see like OG laugh at the spiders and dogs and cats video, which again, if you're in Scotiabank Arena, probably the most fun you had tonight. So yeah, Abaji, like really wild scream, goes down hard. It was nice to see, like, I pay a lot to watch the streams. My streaming bill is like $10,000 a month, paying for all these streams so I can watch, and I got to see the in-game feed or the in-stadium feed, and it was nice to see just like the whole team rallying around Abaji and like helping him off and clapping and stuff. So that's really nice. But it was really odd because like the next play down, Dante DiVincenzo almost does the same thing in the exact same spot, like lands really awkwardly. He just jumped in a weird way, and it almost had some weird like karmic element to it. So you got Moge. He's going to check in. You know, the Chris Boucher protege. Didn't mean to rhyme that, but it sounded pretty nice. First time he touches the ball, just throws like a Jokic pass that gets picked. It's like, Jonte, why'd you have to take the under? I mean, Blake Murphy's going to have to write that story twice. The Jonte's arduous road back to the NBA. He's had a couple highlights, Moge, but it's been an adventure. You could say he's the Chris Boucher protege, but that's like the 2 years away from being 2 years away from Chris's protege. And right at that point, that's kind of when I got that down. Like that turnover, Knicks go on a 10-0 run after that, and the game's cooked. I mean, the game was cooked at the beginning. Precious obviously filled up the stat sheet, but his first two plays of the game got a classic Precious here with a brutal brick. Like he puts juice on his shots, and it was a brick, and then a really ugly dribbling turnover, which as a Raptor fan we've seen that like 800 times. So you got the whole Precious Achiuwa package tonight. And yeah, Tom Thibodeau with him and Mitchell at the same time. It's just absolutely in heaven. Kobe Simmons, good defense. I got that. And then Temple almost gets a 4-point play, gets reviewed, I believe, and turns out the contact was after the shot. So that could have been a cool moment that was taken away from us by Tom Thibodeau, who used to have a mullet, by the way, which was a great look for him. He actually looked incredible with a mullet. Go Google. There's no point of watching this live stream. Just go Google Tom Thibodeau young, and it'll come up. He's wearing like a teal or blue tracksuit, and he's got a huge mullet, and it actually looks amazing. It looks incredible. I'm not even being ironic. Like he needs to somehow bring that back. And yeah, I just kept thinking this game, like, I know it's his first year, Darko, it's your first year. There's some McDaniels conspiracy. There has to be, with like somebody is there's no way, because I read that post of the person who went to the Darko coaching camp who said like McDaniels and Wara are just as bad in practice as they are on the court. So there's just no way. And then there's some conspiracy going on. We know Bobby Webster is former CIA guy, so there's something going on with that. By the way, I'm gonna probably revisit the David Johnson documentary. I've kind of shifted back between it being like a horror and a comedy, but then like you watch The Rehearsal with Nathan Fielder, and he does both. Like there's horror elements to it, but it's also comedy, so it doesn't have to be one or the other. So getting a lot of inspiration from that. So hopefully that'll come out in the off season. A lot of outfits in the game. Scotty with the like bell bottom, leathery purple kind of velvet pants. I guess if I was really tall like that, I would probably wear pants, because like if you're Scotty, most people like their eye line is like at your crotch basically. So you may as well just wear absolutely killer pants, which he did. Maybe only outdone by Chris Boucher, who had some kind of like, you remember Mike TV from Willy Wonka when he got in the white suit and they shrunk? He kind of had like one of those outfits on. I couldn't tell if it was like really, really like the most futuristic thing I'd ever seen, or the most 1970s thing I'd ever seen, or both. I couldn't. I had some really good pho back there like 5 years ago. Yeah, the 3-point contest. Delano eating tonight. It's really trying to help out the Raptors. Portland has not won a game in a long time. Raptors have only won one game since the pizza party. It was against Charlotte, who is almost just as injured as the Raptors are. So, yeah. If people remember the pizza party, I ate pizza on this thing, and I don't think I've had pizza since. I gave up dairy after that, went back to veganism. Mafia will reunite, says Miles McBride had 9 threes. Did he have 9 threes? I thought it was like I thought he hit 5, and then it ended up being 7. But let's check it. 9 for 14 from 3, plus 40 for him. I mean, congratulations. Someone's gonna post. I'm gonna be the dickhead who because someone posted Jordan Poole's stats against the Raptors the other night, and someone's gonna post, which weren't even that good, by the way. But I think if you're like a Nick or anybody playing the Raptors, you kind of have to take this with a grain of salt. I believe the Raptors are the 29th ranked defense, and they don't have Scotty or Pirtle or let's just, I don't need to read it. They don't even have DJ Carton, who had a very nice pink hoodie that really popped. But yeah, biggest home loss in franchise history. Anybody at the game tonight? 44-point loss. At least they scored 101 points, I guess. That really is showing. Devlin. What did Devlin do that kind of annoyed me? I got a Devlin note. Rod Black's following now, so I guess I can't talk about Devlin, but he does this thing where he says, you talk about the Toronto Raptors, you think about the Toronto Raptors, you hear about these things, you talk about and it's like, no, you talk about these things because you're the commentator. And by the way, can you at least just once like make a reference to the fact that maybe this isn't all great, like just for like just once, I would love a like, well, this doesn't look good, but we're never gonna get that. To be honest, it is more funny than annoying at this point. I think it is just kind of funny, just the salesmanship of it. I think he's kind of probably forced to do that. I do watch other broadcasts, because I pay so much for these streams, that I watch a lot of other broadcasts, US broadcasts, and Devlin is unique in that way. They all kind of sell it, but he's like the guy at the very top of the pyramid. Like these MLMs, 3% of people eat and 97% are still trying to sell like boxes of graham crackers and underwear at the local park, when the top 3 are just eating. And he's in that top 3. Like he does not budge on that. And speaking of authenticity, great LeBron James and JJ Redick podcast. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I kind of hate player podcasts. I hate this podcast too. But LeBron James, JJ Redick, they've got 2 episodes out now. It's like X's and O stuff. I watched that before the game. Much more entertaining than the Raptors game. Lots of good stuff in there. I wish more player podcasts were like that. Do you guys think Bruce Brown, is he having fun, or is this a nightmare for him? Because he might be, like, in terms of talent or even just like reputation, he's got to be the one underperforming the most out of any of these players. Like Jordan Nwora was a throw-in in the trade. They couldn't even get like Jarris Walker, but you got a Jordan Nwora. McDaniels, I mean, he has, but I think Bruce Brown is probably the king of that, the top dog for that. I don't know if that's really debatable. I mean, these players know, they've been around for a long time, so they know what's up. Kelly Olynyk continues to, wow, he led the Raptors in assists and rebounds with 8 and 7. So, wow. This is a depressing box score. Really only Grady and Garrett. Pretty much everybody else, and Kelly as well, but I think Gary played all right. I mean, minus 32 is funny. Yeah, I guess Gary's play has been better in this stretch, but I think you do have to shave some of that off because, I mean, he only took 11 shots tonight, but there's been a few games where he's gotten like 16, 18 shots. Like, that's obviously not going to happen when other people are in there. But he has been playing. He's like a rare kind of bright spot on the team. And what I like about Gary is he has never, like, he's played poorly, but he's never taken a game off. Like, he's like, in a lot of these games, it's like him and Kelly are the only ones who are like not tanking. In a lot of these games, that's kind of how it's at least felt. And Grady, of course. But Grady's still like 14 years old. So he's really new to this, doesn't really know what, like, you don't tank in college. You don't tank in high school. Like, this is his first time kind of around this type of thing. Whereas, Gary came into the Portland Trail Blazers, who kind of didn't perfect the art, but they pushed the movement along further. Kind of like Brian De Palma with horror. Like, he didn't invent the genre. He took a lot from Hitchcock, but he kind of added another layer of like satire and maybe another depth or whatever. Am I just stealing somebody else's analysis today? So on off the bench for the Raptors, you got Garrett Temple hit 15, and the next highest was War with 7. So not a ton off your bench. Abaji obviously goes out after 5 minutes, and it's only Grady who hits the 20-point mark. I mean, this is the type of beatdown I expect. Like, I think one of the more shocking things that's happened this year is the Orlando Magic played back-to-back games against this Raptors squad and won by an average of 12 points. 12 points. And the Raptors were in those games. So that's like one of the things I'm watching for. And these are teams in like who have a vested interest in winning. Like the Magic at that point were like one game out of a play-in. And I'm looking at these teams like who is really coming out here and killing the Raptors. The Knicks, wow, 44 points. That's something. The Pelicans, that was a reaming. What was the Thunder? I think the Thunder was pretty rough too. So, no, 20 points. I think there was a fake comeback in that though. But the Magic, the Orlando Magic, I would be pretty worried. Like if I was a Magic fan in the back of my head, I would be like, the Magic lost by an average of 12 points, 4 possessions to this iteration of the Toronto Raptors featuring. Do I really have to read the lineup out? For some of my older fans, like how does this lineup as it is compare to some of the like the 2000? I think it was 2004 was the worst year in Raptors history, I believe, in terms of winning percentages. But this one's got to be up there. I think with the Jonte thing, it just kind of adds another layer of hilarity. Like you just have to laugh at this point. Tom Duke says the Sixers are up next. Yeah. Little Nick Nurse revenge game. So my prediction for so a lot of Sixers fans, as a joke, I know I'm not allowed to say this, but the Sixers fan base is quite funny. And there's been a lot of people tweeting as a joke that like Tobias Harris needs to be taken away for like investigated for the Jonte thing, because he's at a lot of games where he's getting like 2 or 3 points. And so that's kind of my prediction. I predicted the Precious revenge game, which it didn't feel like a revenge game, but he definitely filled up. He definitely ate. I don't know if it was revenge, but he definitely played well. I'm picturing it's not going to be a revenge game. Tobias Harris was on the 2019 team, wasn't he? I think so. That was before the huge contract, though, I believe. But I think he could have a breakout game. Prop betting people, I don't know what plus 100 means, but if you do and you bet, I would put a bunch of money on like Tobias Harris getting like 9 threes against the Raptors, because what an opportunity. You already had like the 29th worst defense in the league. Half the team gets injured, and now you have guards who Kobe Simmons has been good with defense, but like the people that you've brought in to replace the injuries have definitely not been pluses on the defensive end. Like Jordan Nwora, an increase in minutes, like not a plus on the defensive end. Bruce Brown, debatable. It's an effort. So much of defense is effort, and he just doesn't really seem to have that. But the bar is so low at this point that like he is probably one of the more effective defenders. Jalen McDaniels, does he have a block this year? And I'm just looking. He had a block this game, so I'm an idiot. But I don't know, just for him, he just when you picture him, you just think this long guy. I mean, he had that huge block against Fred VanVleet. The commentators were like the CTV morning crew with Leo Routen's shirtless, like they were drooling to that level. I need to make that video in the off season, by the way, too. Yeah, I got some really good pho in this. I was like waiting for a bus over here in 2017 and got some really good pho. There's a 7-Eleven over here. This is the town where I met the kid who had the American military jacket. It was outside of this town in a farm. This young kid, Vietnamese kid. He had a U.S. military jacket. I still think about that. Like, how the fuck did that happen? Vietnam's really cool, by the way. You should go. Just go check it out. Go check out Vietnam, everybody. Don't watch the Raptors. Go check out Vietnam. Gregory with we need Steven Seagal to give some secret knowledge to McDaniels. I love the Steven Seagal reference. I don't know what the I don't get it though, but Vegan Grass is Nick Nurse going off against the refs right now. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a show. That's at least what I hope. I hope we get a show with Nick and the Sixers. Like I hope we do get some of the classics. I wonder who's refereeing that game. But yeah, that's kind of what you're looking forward to at this point in the season. Because let's check out the bar. So what do we got tonight? We got younger crowd. Definitely a bit of a younger crowd tonight. I'm seeing a lot of white shirts, white hats. Does seem to be a popular place for white hats. Music, a lot of cowboy hats and acoustic guitars I'm noticing with the music. But we'll check back out in the bar. I mean, I just wanted to say hello to the people here who came out for the Raptor Moments post-game show. To be able to have a show where there's live music and like 60 people dancing to what I'm saying, it is you kind of have to shake yourself once in a while and be like, is this real life? Is this really happening? We got a rather bald gentleman here with a mustache and a polo shirt. He's talking to two blondes. He could definitely be a main character. They're moving away from him. I think physically, yeah, they're moving away from him. I think that could be a main character for sure. It is better when there's just like 90 years of age difference. That's usually makes for more comedy, but he's pretty good. He's singing. He's having fun. He's kind of looks like my grandpa, whose hat I'm wearing right now. Okanagan Helicopters. He used to be a cattle farmer in the Okanagan. Yeah, he's there's a guy at my gym who just looks at every white girl between the age of 18 and 27. He is like you can set your watch to it. It's incredible. He would kind of be doing that, I think. I kind of want to ask, like, I kind of want to just be, because I hate everybody at the gym. Like, I just hate people at the gym. I mean, people in general, but people at the gym are the worst. Oh, he's gonna try again. Oh, he's bailing. I bet it kind of looked like he said something sarcastic, like, all right, I'm gonna go. Maybe he's gonna order a pizza. That was a popular move a couple nights ago. You order a pizza, smooth things out with everybody. But he's back. He's back with his boys. What hat's is that? A Yankees hat? The orange one here. It's very bright. Fellow orange hat wearer, different shade. Oh, where are we going? No, he's left us forever. He'll come back. He'll be back. But yeah, those ladies were not. They did not enjoy that, I don't think. Yeah, I like people who don't know how to read the room, because it's relatable. Is that a Orlando Magic shirt on, or March Madness? This guy coming in here, could that be his rival? That could be. That didn't look great. Okay, he's pointing. Is he trying to buy her a drink? Looking at this guy now here. He's telling some kind of joke. She's really doesn't really care, but he's gonna walk through. Okay, he's going to her now. I think this could be this guy's rival if he ever comes back. These two guys here with the open shirt, they're just kind of, I don't know what they're doing. They're not dancing. They're just kind of standing there, sleeves rolled up. Okay, now they're moving a little bit. That annoys me a lot when someone's just standing still and then a group of people moves towards them and then they start dancing just because the group is coming. Like it's like they have to fulfill some kind of social contract. I went to my cousin's wedding. I was in the wedding party and I didn't dance to a single song. I just refused to, because it was all like just your typical wedding songs, Like, what's the shout? You know, the da-da-da-da shout. It's like I'm sorry, I can't do it. No diggity. I can't do it. So I'm just the guy sitting. This guy's got the pattern thing going. But yeah, not loving the. I'm not loving the bar tonight. I'm not loving the vibe here. Let's go back to Vietnam. Oven. It's a good name for. Oh, Owen. I was gonna say oven. That's a good name for like a bakery or something. I thought about that. Oven. Yeah, I don't know. that's kind of it. Did Portland? Let's check the Portland. Delano had 29 when I last checked, and currently, the Portland Trailblazers, who are playing the Atlanta Hawks, lost by 14 with 31 from Delano. He was trying. Where's Dominating, by the way? Sometimes he's in these lineups, sometimes he's not. But man, the Portland Trailblazers, I don't think the Raptors can catch them now. I don't know if it's mathematically impossible, but like I thought this Portland team could scrap together a few wins. I mean, you got a guy named Scoot on your team. How do you lose games with someone with that name? I don't understand it. You got Tumani Kamara, which is also a very cool name, but like unironically really cool. Chris Murray, 0 points in 22 minutes. Doesn't shooting run in your family? That's what Sam Vecini. That's what I bought from Sam Vecini. Moses Brown, some Raptor legends on this team. You got Moses Brown, Delano Banton. I guess that's it. Lost to the Hawks by 14. No, there's no hope for the Blazers. It's really just the Grizzlies and the Raptors at this point. I thought Portland was going to be in reach. You lose 12 games in a row, you start getting a little too optimistic maybe, and you do have to remember that it is the Portland Trailblazers kind of bringing in guys like J'Anthony Williams? It was like Janathan Williams. Jalen McDaniels. I'd probably rather have Janathan Williams. They got a guy named Dylan Windler on the Hawks. Like the Hawks are winning with a guy named Dylan Windler. A guy named Trent Forrest. That's actually a cool name. Veet Krejci lights you up. It's pretty dark. But March Madness starts up again tomorrow, so that's a positive. Tomorrow we've got some good games on the slate. UConn, San Diego State, probably the best offense first bet. And this is on brand because the Raptors have half the draft picks in this draft, so you may as well watch some of these games. You got UConn, probably the best offense versus one of the best defenses. San Diego State, that's kind of their brand. It's where Malachi won, defensive player of the decade or whatever. It's where Kawhi went. Kind of the defense is there, and their coach is really chill. Look, when he gives, I forget his name, it's like Brian something. When he gives interviews, Brian starts with something R, Deltler or something. I don't fucking know. Illinois State, Iowa State, or Illinois, Iowa State. I don't really care about that. UNC versus Alabama, Clemson versus Arizona. That'll be a good one. And then it's Friday that you got the Gonzaga Purdue game. My Gonzaga Bulldogs versus Zach Edey. Man, there's some nice players on Gonzaga. None of them in the top 70 rankings. Maybe the Raptors will extend some undrafted invitations. You got Nemhard. You got Ben Gregg, who's probably been my favorite player in the tournament. He's got the mullet. He's from Oregon. Him and Kelly Olynyk would be best friends. You got Hickman, who's really nice. And shouts to Anton Watson, who's been there for like 6 years. Spokane/Coeur d'Alene product. And then you got Duke, Houston, Creighton, Tennessee, NC State, Marquette. NC State, 11 seed. DJ Burns. Their best two guys are both named DJ. DJ Burns, DJ Horns. That's kind of fun. DJ Burns is a unit. I thought that said Ken Birch for a sec. This is a cool town, man. This is where when the French ruled Vietnam, this was like their hub, pretty much. I don't know if it was their hub, but it was like their Cancun's a stretch, but they're because it's 4 hour drive north of Ho Chi Minh in a province called Lam Dong, which is pretty cool. Beautiful surrounding areas, lots of waterfalls. But yeah, there are a lot of French kind of. I don't know if it's French architecture, but there's a French vibe. That's why Vietnamese subs are on baguettes, by the way. If you were ever like, why this seems random, it's on a baguette, and it's because the French fucked around hard in this area, and this was one of their outposts. You can kind of see it more in the town square where I got the bowl of pho, but really cool waterfalls around here too. Something called place called Elephant Falls. Definitely gotta go check that out. If you're ever in Vietnam, give me a shout. Go check out Elephant Falls. I wore flip flops there. It was just kind of sliding down the rocks very awkwardly, but it was probably my favorite place in Vietnam. The thing that really drove me crazy about Vietnam though was the motorbike noise, because like in Vietnam, it's customary to honk when you pass somebody. Like it's kind of everybody does it. So you just got like honk, 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 honk. In Thailand, you don't. I mean, I guess some people do, but like it's not really a thing. But then so you can kind of you can see a little bit of French juice here, maybe a little bit. But then Thailand has way more road deaths per capita. So Vietnam might be onto something with the honking when you pass somebody, but you can be in a relatively quiet place and it's like 2 a.m. and it's still just like I loved it though. It was just a lot. It's like a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot. You have your. I guess it's not a lot for all your senses. I'm gonna say it's a lot. It's not like touch or whatever, but it's just. It took me 8 days to learn how to cross the street in Ho Chi Minh. And I'll give you guys a tutorial. This is across the street in not so much like here is fine, but in Ho Chi Minh or in Hanoi, bigger cities, you're gonna have 800 motorbikes at an intersection, and a lot of times as a pedestrian, it's just totally nuts. But the way you cross, and I was like my second or third day in Vietnam, and this little girl, like 5-6 years old, walks across like 11 lanes of traffic with 800 motorbikes on it, unscathed. And I'm watching this like, how does this happen? And then I was actually taught by somebody how to cross the street. And the key is you never go backwards. So like once you're crossing the street, you can stop, but you never move backwards. So that alone, it's like, okay, we now know that. So the motorbikes know that the pedestrians aren't going to move backwards. That's rule number 1. Don't go backwards. So if they know that, then it kind of moves like this amoeba. People aren't going super fast a lot of the time either. So it's kind of this amoeba where everybody's just like trying to walk or motorbike kind of around. So if you don't go backwards, that's like half the battle. And try, like that's a non-negotiable. And then a more negotiable one is, once you got that master, not going backwards, try to keep the same pace. Like try to relatively, like you don't want to go really fast and then stop and then really, but sometimes you do have to stop. Like that's not the going backwards is like the hard rule. Then once you get that, and then it's just kind of makes sense. Like you go out there in the motorbikes and everybody's just kind of like it works somehow. And then, yeah, you can cross 11 lanes of traffic without being swallowed alive. Nameless. I can't believe full families whip around on those motorbikes, those damn motorini, kids flying off and crap. I didn't see anything weird. I saw you'll see people like I saw this one dude. It was amazing. This would have been in between I think it was by Monet, but he was ripping down the side of the highway on his motorbike, and the way he was carrying this goat, it was like a running back in football. Like, it was like he just like had this fucking fully grown goat, and he just had it like a running back holds a football, just flying down the highway. And I'm like, that is amazing. I didn't see, honestly, I was in Asia for a year. The only like carnage I saw was white people in hostels with, like, if you go to a hostel anywhere in Thailand, you will see like 13 white people with casts, slings, bloody cuts and stuff. It's never the locals. It's always the other people. They don't know how it all works. And to be fair, I didn't ride a motorbike in Asia until 6 months in, I think 5 or 6 months. I remember when I first got there, I was like, I am not getting like, it just looks so crazy. But then after a while, you kind of ease into it, and eventually had a ton of fucking fun with a motorbike. I had like a 100. What is it? Just, I mean, it was just your basic, but most people there just have basic motorbikes, like a Honda or whatever. I can't remember what it's called. CC. Wow. You're not flying around, but you can go a little bit. I think I was like the only one at the retreat I was living at who didn't crash. I almost crashed though. It was a huge puddle, and I went through. And if I had a bigger, like larger bike, I definitely would have crashed. But because it was lighter, I was actually, as I was falling, and I wasn't going that fast either, but like as I was falling, going through this huge like lake puddle after a storm or during a storm, I was actually able to like, it probably would have looked pretty cool if it was on camera, but like as I was falling off the bike, I basically just like put my foot, kind of like a kickstand, and then the bike came back up. I mean, I wasn't going fast. If you put that on fast forward, that could probably trick some people, and it would look really cool, but that was the closest I came to. But I almost got eaten alive by dogs in Thailand. So I think I've told that story before. Went hiking where I wasn't supposed to. Didn't know, but accidentally wandered onto, I guess, someone's property who must have been hiding something, because the second I did, I still sometimes wonder if it was 6. Pretty sure it was 5. It was at least 5. Just 5 massive dogs running at me, trying to kill me, basically. But I had been in Bali earlier, and in Bali, a lot of the dogs have rabies. I don't know if a lot of them have rabies, but enough of them have rabies where it's a different energy than Thailand and Vietnam and Cambodia and Singapore. In Bali, it's like, and we got chased by a rabid dog on our motorbike. Like, it was, I mean, it's not like we were, like, we could get away from him pretty quickly, but for a couple of seconds there, it was like, fuck. So you basically learn that, like, you have to attack them first if they're going to attack you. Like, you can't, I mean, if you're on a motorbike and you can get away, obviously you can get away, but if you can't run away, which probably can most of the times, like, you have to become the aggressor or else you're fucked. And I'm dog rescues in my family, so that news was kind of horrifying, but yeah, luckily that kicked in. And when the dogs came about this close to me, running full speed, and I can't do anything, there's no rocks. It's a Thailand, like, I don't know how to describe it, like jungle forest where there's no actual, like, the only thing is like the dirt and then the trees that go up. There's no sticks, there's no rocks. Like, it's not like a Canada forest where there'd be all types of, there's nothing you can grab, there's nothing you can really climb. Probably maybe could have tried to climb a tree, the branch, it's those trees that don't really have a lot of branch, like, you're fucked basically. And just out of survival, I screamed fuck as loud as I possibly could. And the really creepy thing is, this was actually all in recording on my phone. I was making a voice recording for friends back home in Vancouver when this happened, and just, wasn't thinking, put the phone in my pocket. I wasn't like, oh, there are 5 murderous dogs running full speed at me, let me close the voice notes app. No, I just threw it in my pocket. Listen back to it later. Very horrifying. I don't have it anymore though. It's on an old phone. My iPhone 4 that I took to to Asia, 4S, I believe. But yeah, just out of instinct, screamed fuck, and I saw that kind of like they stopped. You know, they were getting pretty close to me anyways, where they're going to have to stop or they're going to run right through me. But I could tell it did something. And then I, of course, just did it again like 8 times. And then they started backing away. And then I started backing away slowly, kept eye contact, kept yelling at them, and just kind of walked slowly back. Because you can't run. I think if you run, they'll start chasing you. So that's out of all the things that could happen to you, you know, I never got food poisoning. I never got like abducted. I never got robbed or anything at all. Nothing at all sketchy happened to me, except for this one random day where I was like, hey, let's go. Because there's not really that many places around here to like go for a little hike, go for a little walk. It was not the right place. I can't read Thai, so maybe there was a sign being like private property or something. It looked like a trail. I've shown people on Google Earth. I'm like, doesn't this just look like a thing you could? Yeah, it's like. So be careful, folks. Be careful when you go there. But it's my shtick. It's my. So yeah, the Raptors lose by 44, largest deficit, and next game up is against Nick Nurse and the Philadelphia 76ers, and thank the Lord for March Madness. I think there's 9 games left for the Raptors this year. So yeah, I put out a Jonte Porter video yesterday. So yeah, go check that out, I guess. Any last? Vegan grass. I thought Thailand was crazy loud. Vietnam sounds like a dude. I'm like a. How do I say this without being like? Sound to me is like. I mean, you know, sound effects in a lot of the videos. Been making music for a long time. Sound is like my most. Like if I went blind, I'd be one of those people that just like can navigate through sound. So sound like really like when I hear a baby crying, I want to die. Like it's just like, oh. So yeah, for me, it affected me more. Just the noise. Thailand was like really quiet. Like Chiang Mai is like really quiet compared to Bangkok's pretty crazy, but still not like loud. Bangkok during rush hour is. Bangkok during rush hour when you have to catch a flight and the bus terminal and the airport are on different sides of the city, and the bus terminal's in this like weird place where taxis in Thailand are really sketchy. So there's weird like that. The whole taxi industry in Thailand is like go look that up. It's wild. And I kind of knew that, so I get up to this bus station in Bangkok, 9 a.m. I got a flight to middle of rush hour, Monday morning, 9 a.m. Bangkok. I got a flight to catch to Vietnam, by the way, to do a visa run, my second time to Vietnam. And I get to this bus station, and there's only motorbikes. There's no taxis. And at this point, I hadn't had a motorbike yet, so I had to. It's not a great story, but navigating Bangkok in rush hour using the rapid transit, which is a great system. Definitely don't recommend that. I also don't recommend a lot of just visa runs and missing paperwork and stuff that I did when I was over there. I was a mess. Just everything on my iPhone 4S. It's like the only thing I brought with me. Is it 4S? I think so. Raptors lose by 44. Largest at-home deficit. So you witness history tonight, folks. And I'm going to go get some pho here in Dalat, Vietnam, province of Lam Dong. Beautiful, beautiful town. Really nice. Really good vibes. Great coffee. It's kind of a coffee hub. I believe it is like the coffee hub of Vietnam. Could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But it is a coffee hub. great waterfalls around. So this is like where the French were like, this is where we're gonna fucking hang out. So it's great. It's great that they didn't stay though. They kind of left an imprint with like the architecture and the baguettes, but the people have reclaimed. I love these vans. Took a lot of those. Took a lot of vans. Sometimes very disorganized. Like one morning I woke up in Monet and I got up at like 4 a.m. because the guy told me the bus comes at 5. And I think I was going to Dalat. Like I was coming here from the coast. So I get up at like 4. I catch the bus at 5 in front of the hotel. And so I'm on the bus. I'm like excited. I'm going to go to this coffee region in the mountains. I've been at the ocean, change of scenery, getting really excited. Got all my stuff early, first thing in the morning. See the sunrise over the ocean in Monet. Just beautiful stuff. Amazing. And then we're driving through town, and then we go to this hotel. And I'm like, okay, makes sense. So we're picking up people, big hotel, kind of a bit far outside of town, but makes sense. Go to the big hotel, pick a bunch of people up. So we sit outside the big hotel like 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. It's like, okay, let's get going here, folks. And then we're going back through the town. We go to another hotel, and now it's like 6:37ish, and I'm like, well, let's get going here. I want to get my coffee. I want to get some stuff happening. Like, then the bus is really starting to fill up, and now we're picking up like mail, and I think a goat got on at one point. It's like parcels are coming on. It's insane. And I kid you not, at around 8:30, we pass my original hotel on the other side of the road. So I could have slept for 3 more hours and just picked the bus up on the other side of the road. I guess I wouldn't have had a